Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. And for our strange holiday today, happy kite flying day. Whatever floats your boat, right? Anyways, today's card is kind of an unusual color palette for a Valentine's Day card. I don't typically like Valentine's Day. I don't typically do the whole Valentine's Day thing. But I had this kind of inspiration hit me, and using some Cathy Zielske I's stamps and dies and stuff like that, I felt like this could really fit into that Valentine's Day. And maybe it gives you inspiration for your own Valentine's Day card that doesn't quite fit into that whole lovey, mushy, gushy kind of feeling card. So let's take a look at how I put this one together. I freaking love this Oh Happy Day tag from Simon Says Stamp and CZ Design. Try saying that 5 times fast. Cathy Zielske, love this one, but I'm gonna try and resist and not use it, even though I could make like 20 cards out of just this one die. But I'm gonna resist, and I'm gonna try and think outside the box a little bit. So I'm gonna use some of these products to make my, I guess it's a very untraditional Valentine's Day card, and I don't know exactly how this is all going to play out, and we're gonna see if it all works together. That's the hope, at least, is to kind of see what happens, but we're gonna go with it and just see how it all works. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of this 100-pound Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. This is what we're gonna be working with today for the actual card panel, and then I'm gonna mount it on some more 100-pound Neenah Desert Storm. I keep wanting to say Solar White, that's the one I grabbed the most, but Desert Storm to actually make the rest of the card. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves and just get the panel done first. So let me get this all cleaned up and we'll get started. The first thing to start off the card panel I'm going to be doing is using some Distress Oxide and Mermaid Lagoon. We're going to do the ink smooshing technique. You take a piece of acetate and literally smoosh down some ink on top of that. Then I'm going to use my spray bottle and just kind of start to get it to beat up a little bit, just like that. And now I'm going to start smushing. This is a great technique if you really want control of where everything is going, but you want that kind of watercolor look, because it gives you that watercolor look without you having to lose too much control over what's happening. And we're going to try and make this look a little watercolor-ish. It's got that watercolor-esque element about it. And we're going to try and repeat that and make that kind of happen here on this panel. I am going to be overlapping these colors, but not exactly in the same spot. So we'll just kind of play around and see what we get. Alright, so I have gotten the ink smushing done. I don't think I ever mentioned, but I use Twisted Citron as well for my second color. So Mermaid Lagoon and Twisted Citron in the Distress Oxide line, which is why it has kind of a chalky look to it. Whenever the oxides get wet, they create that chalky look. And I like that there was a little bit of overlap. I accidentally got that Mermaid Lagoon wet again with the with some water, and it kind of interacted with the Twisted Citron. So I'm liking how that looks, and it's very untraditional for Valentine's Day and not your typical colors, but I think I like it and where this is going. I've gone ahead and added some dot liner on the back of this so that way I can stick it down into my Tim Holtz stamp platform. The good thing is the plastic will, it'll adhere to the plastic, but then it'll come right back up whenever I'm done stamping. So I just kind of want to get it stuck down so that way it's not going to you know, give me any weird results whenever I'm stamping, because with it bubbled up, it may end up giving me some weird results and might smear my ink a little bit and all that kind of stuff that I don't want to happen whenever I'm doing this. So I'm going to place my stamp right there. Now, since I'm using a rubber cling stamp, I do need to lift this top panel right out of its base, flip it around onto the other side that says rubber, so that way I can pick this stamp up just like so. I'm going to use some VersaFine ink to stamp this stamp with, and hopefully, since I've taped it down, it'll give me a good impression. But again, since it's in my stamp platform, I can ink it more than once if I need to and do it that way. Use a lot of pressure. My poor little desk just I think I need to get some new supports for it or something, because it is wobbling around like crazy, but it should. See, that's not bad at all, but I am going to go ahead and just do it inky again, get it all inky once again, because I would like hopefully a little bit of a darker impression. But the VersaFine ink is great because it does get you into those little details, so that way you can really get in there and get those little finer details, especially like on this stamp. And I don't think I mentioned, but these are the hipster stamps from Tim Holtz and Stamper Anonymous. Love these stamps a lot. I think they're adorable. Normally, I would probably use some embossing powder on my little dude here to give him some texture and make him stand out a little bit more, but unfortunately, I'm still trying to find where my embossing powder is. So, unfortunately, just can't do that today, but hopefully I'll find those powders somewhat soon, and I'll be able to, oh man, see, even I do that. It happens, and it sucks when it does. I'll get these magnets undone, and we'll move on to the next step. Not stamp, but step. Well, it is, no, die, whatever. Let's move on. Next up, I'm going to use this stamp set, which is Simple Sentiments 2 from Cathy Zielske I. And I'm going to be using the greeting or message that says, "You're my people." I think that's going to set this off. I think that's going to set this card off nicely. So I'm going to use that for my little greeting. And I'm just going to put this, almost did it again. I think I'm going to put it like right there. And I have to remember that I do need to flip this back over to the clear side, since I'm using another clear stamp for this. Ooh, my poor magnets. I'm gonna break these one day, I promise you. That's gonna happen at some point. But anyways, so I'm gonna stamp this once again in the VersaFine ink, kind of make everything matchy-matchy. So I've stamped the sentiment on this red cardstock, and now I'm going to use this Cathy Zielske design Love You die set, and it comes with two pieces. One part is your outline and one part is your actual words. I'm going to use some more of that red cardstock for the actual words themselves and some vellum for the outline. So let's get the Cuttlebug out and we'll go ahead and die cut those. I'm using some 40-pound vellum for the Love You outline shape. I think that will work out well. It is a little thin in my opinion. I would like a much thicker, heavier pound vellum, but overall I think it'll work just fine. It's not a big deal. It's a small little detail that I think I'm just being nitpicky about. So I'm gonna run this through the Cuttlebug and we'll get it all cut out. Okay, it's time to start the final assembly. I've cut down my stamped sentiment onto just a rectangle piece of cardstock. Some of you may ask me what type of cardstock this red cardstock is. I don't know for sure. This was in my bin of random pieces of leftover cardstock. I have a bin, like when I make a cut, I'll just throw the leftovers over into that bin to be reused. So I don't know what type of cardstock it is, but it's this nice deep red color. I think it's gonna work great. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my Tombow Extreme adhesive. Because this card has warped so very much, I'm gonna go ahead and use that really strong adhesive on it. I'm going over the dot liner. It is perfectly fine to go over already laid down adhesive, especially with how much this one is warped as I've been working with it. So I'm gonna put that on there. Again, I'm using the Nina Desert Storm 100-pound cardstock, and I'm just gonna attach this panel to it. There we go. I didn't get it 100% exactly matched up, but it is a handmade card and that's what's important. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my art glitter glue, since this has a very fine point to it, and I'm gonna go ahead and use this to attach the little Love You die cut to its outline. Now that I've gotten that all done and adhered, I'm gonna now use the glue and just kind of hide it behind the red cardstock. It will probably squish out a little bit, that's okay. It does dry clear, so hopefully you won't be able to see it too much behind there, but I have the feeling some of it will be seen a little bit, which is not a big deal. It's just, you know, it's a handmade card, what are you gonna do? And lastly, I'm going to attach the little strip here using some more of this glue and just put it on, but I'm going to put it on at a little angle. There we go, there's the finished card. I think it will be a great kind of non-traditional Valentine's Day card. It does use red in it, so I guess it kind of fits into the Valentine's Day, but I felt like this red works well with that kind of lime green and that electric blue that we have here on the card. So all in all, I kind of like this card a lot. I think it's good. I think it's a perfect Valentine's Day card for someone who's maybe not so into Valentine's Day. And what's interesting is the vellum is not showing up on camera very well that I can see, but it's definitely there here in person. So I like that there's this like outline around the Love You. It gives you a nice little kind of border around it. So all in all, I think this card came together quite well. My card may be unusual, but it still gets the message across loud and clear that the recipient is loved, and I think that's the most important part. So I think that's gonna do it for today's video. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, let YouTube know that you like my video, and then hopefully YouTube will then share it across YouTube land. Also, if you're not already, hit that button down below that says subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and get great updates every time I post a new video or go live by clicking the bell icon. You can also catch me on my social media links. Those are all listed down in the description below. Make sure to get social with me, interact with me, say hi. I hope everybody has a great day, and remember guys, normal's just a setting on the dryer. Bye!